Okay, good morning. Magsimula tayo ng day 14. Ang learning objective na natin ngayon is, kumbaga sa day 12, natuto tayo kung paano i-account yung intercompany sales of inventory. Sa day 13 naman yung sale ng PPE. Ngayon naman, kung paano i-account yung intercompany dividends. Dividends ng subsidiary kay parent. Kung paano siya i-account. Sige. Pasugot nga pala to pagkatapos ng module ha, yung activity 1. Sige, discuss natin kung ano intercompany dividends. The dividends must be eliminated when the consolidated financial statements are prepared. It is as if the parent never received the dividends. Therefore, if the dividends were recognized in profit or loss, if the investment is measured at cost or at fair value, eliminate the dividend income in the consolidated statement of profit or loss. If the dividends were recognized as a reduction to the investment account, if the investment is measured using the equity method, and back the dividends to the investment account. Sige, ano nga ba yung pinagkaiba nun? Pagka cost method at fair value method daw, syempre yung dividend income na ma-receive natin from our subsidiary is recognized as dividend income. Okay, debited dividend receivable or cash, credit, dividend income. Kung ginagamit natin ay cost or fair value method daw, model. Pero, kung ginamit natin yung equity method, saan nga ba applicable yung equity method? Sa joint venture, tsaka sa investment in associate, di ba? Kung ganoon yung ginagamit natin na pag-account sa investment natin, ang magiging entry naman natin doon, pag naka-receive tayo ng dividend is, di ba, debit, cash, credit, investment in joint venture or investment in subsidiary, di ba? Kasi pag yung dividend income doon, treated as return of capital. Pero for our discussion, ang gagamitin natin, ito yung first bullet. Sige. Sure, same lang din pero kaya hindi ko na masyadong i-expound. Pero for the computation, aralin natin yung step by step. Madali lang naman to. Actually, last 2 modules na to before your quiz. So, kumbaga na-cover na natin lahat. Okay. ICE company owns 75% interest in Fire Company. On acquisition date, the carrying amount of Fire Company's net identifiable asset was 240,000 daw. Equal to the fair value. Ibig sabihin wala tayong fair value adjustment. Nabili siya as 240,000. Okay. Non-controlling interest was measured using 240,000 yung at fair value yung net asset ng subsidiary nung binili natin. Sige. Non-controlling interest was measured using the proportionate share method. So, pag proportionate method natin, tandaan, walang share si NCI sa goodwill na makuha. Any goodwill is attributable to the parent or dun sa bumili, ha? Fire Company declared 100,000 dividends. Selected information on the entities on December 31, 20x1 shown as follow. Parang condensed financial position na to, di ba? Wala kang binigay na equity ay na asset tsaka liabilities. So, ito na yung parang net asset niya. Assume natin. Okay. At tandaan. At December 31, 1 year after the acquisition. Okay. Ito si ICC parent, tapos ito si subsidiary. Okay. Ano ba yung required? A. Non-controlling interest in the net asset of subsidiary as of year-end. So, ilatag ulit natin yung formula. Ito daw yung step by step. Number 1, analysis muna natin kung magkano yung effect ng intercompany transaction. Magkano yung dineclare dividends? 100,000. Ilan yung share mo? 75%. So, yung 75% ng 100,000 is 75,000. Yun yung mapupunta kay parent. Tapos yung difference, yun yung mapupunta kay NCI. Okay. Madali lang. Sige, step 2. Madali lang step 1 ha. Step 2. Ilatag natin yung table na lagi natin ginagawa pagka nagko-consolidate tayo. Kunin natin yung net asset at carrying amount and at fair value. Since equal sila at acquisition date, 240 parehas, di ba? Walang adjustment, napapansin nyo. Okay. Tapos, magkano siya at year-end? Kunin mo kung magkano na yung total equity at year-end, 320 ng kay sub. Di ba yung galaw niya? So, 320. Magkano yung change? 80,000. Okay. Di ba? Naalala nyo yan? Step 3, di ba dapat kukompute tayo ng goodwill? Pero since wala naman tayong way para mag-compute ng goodwill kasi kulang yung information na binigay nila, leave na natin yan. Step 4, compute na natin yung non-controlling interest in the net asset as of year-end. Okay ha? Paano pag sinabing at acquisition date? Kunin natin agad 240 times at acquisition date, dito to, 240 times times 25%. Pero since at year-end yung kailangan, ito yung kukunin natin. 320 times 25%, 80,000. Okay, madali lang. Then nasagot na natin yung A, di ba? Letter B naman tayo. Consolidated retained earnings. Tandaan sa consolidated retained earnings, ang ginagamit lang natin ay ang retained earnings ni parent tsaka yung net increase doon sa net asset ni subsidiary, tapos yung share lang natin. Okay. So, 280 yung retained earnings natin as of year end. Tapos, magkano yung increase sa kanya? 80,000. Hindi dito yung galing ha, dito yun, yung increase sa net asset niya. 80,000. So, may share tayo doon na 75%. Kaya, ang net consolidated retained earnings natin ay 340,000. Okay, nasagot na rin natin yung letter B. Letter C. Consolidated profit for the year and broken into amounts attributable to the owner of the parent and attributable to the interest. Sige, computein muna natin yung kay parent. Okay. Profits before adjustment daw. 475. Dito na tayo mag-start para madali, di ba? 475,000. Kaso, meron tayong share na 75,000 na dividend sa 475,000 na profit natin na yan. Meron diyan kasali diyan yung share natin sa dividend income. So magkano man yung share natin sa dividend income? Punta ka step 1. Ayun 75,000. So magkano yung totoong profit natin? 400,000. Kay subsidiary applicable? Hindi. Kasi syempre alam niyo naman yan. So ang total profit before fair value adjustment ay 532,000. Pero since walang fair value adjustment, since is equal yung carrying amount niya at fair value acquisition date, yun na yun, 532,000. Okay, yun yung total consolidated profit natin. Ngayon, kailangan natin siyang biyakin between parent and subsidiary, NCI. Ito yung kay parent, yun, 400. Tapos yung 132 na kay subsidiary, yung, ayun, sharing nila. 75 tapos 25. 499,332, 532,000. Madali lang, di ba? Mas madali siya compare sa iba. Pero pag pinagsama-sama na yan, mahirap na. Sige, mag-start tayo sa activity 5 para ma-master nyo. Ganun ulit naman di ba? Parang napansin nyo ba yung yung flow ng problem natin? Same problem, different amount para mas mapamiliarize kayo. Kaya ako sa'yo, sugutan nyo lang ng sagutan. Tapos kung magre-review kayo, kahit mag-practice kayo sa book, pero yung concept, ulit-ulitin nyo lang. Ako nung nagre-review ako sa board exam, nag-handouts lang ako lagi. Basta, kunyari, kahit memorize, alam ko na yung topic. Babasahin ko siya ulit. Basta once a day, or paulit-ulit lang hanggang sa memorize ko siya. Kaso nakalimutan ko kasi matagal na. Sige. Loud Company owns 75% interest in Soft Company. On acquisition date, the carrying amount of Soft Company's net identifiable asset was 240,000, equal to its fair value daw. Non-controlling interest was measured using the proportionate share method. In 20x1, Soft Company declared 150,000 declared dividends. Selected information entities, so same, iniba lang yung amount. Non-controlling interest in net asset of the subsidiary. So latag mo ulit. Ngayon, analyze muna natin kung magkano share niya sa dividends. Magkano yung total declare? 150. Ilan yung ownership ng parent? 75. So, 112.5. Tapos yung difference kay non-controlling interest. So, magkano yung net identifiable asset ni subsidiary at acquisition? 360. O, usig mo na lang yun dito. 360. Tapos, nung year-end, ilan daw? 480,000. Bakit nil? Kasi, equal yung carrying amount niya sa fair value, kaya wala tayong fair value adjustment ha. Kaya ganyan. So 480 tas 360, magkano increase? 120,000. Goodwill, hindi ulit mako-compute. Non-controlling interest in net asset. Edi kunin mo agad yung 480,000 times sa 25%, yun na yun, 120,000. Consolidated retained earnings. Ito yung retained earnings ulit ni parent, 420,000. Plus yung share niya sa increase ng net asset identifiable ni subsidiary, 120 times 75. Hindi, 90,000. 510,000. Consolidated profit or loss. Kunin nyo ulit yung profit or loss niya. Okay, ayan. Tapos, yung share niya, share natin sa dividend niya. Kasi, yun lang yung in-income natin. Di ba, ganito kasi yung concept niyan. Nag-declare siya ng 150,000, pero hindi naman lahat napunta sa atin. Yung 112,500 lang, di ba? So, ayun, 112,500. Kaya, ang profit before natin ay 600,000. Sa kanya naman, 198,000. Tapos, pag hinati natin yan, syempre, yung 600 sa kanya, yung 198. Tandaan, ang bibiyakin lang natin yung yung profit ni subsidiary. Yung kay parent, sa kanya na talaga yan. 198. So, 798,000, 748,000. Ito yung answer. Sugutin nyo,